Hello friends, my name is Kumbar AS, Assistant Professor of Plant Pathology in a College of Agricultural and Allied Sciences, Baramati. Today we discuss about the new topic. The name of that topic is Principles of Integrated Plant Disease Management. That topic we already discussed in previous semester. Again, we discuss here a detailed information about each and every principles. How that principles be used for the management of that disease. We can discuss in detail or in depth. So let us see the principles, which are the principles are responsible for the management of disease. In that, the five principles are avoidance, exclusion, eradication, protection, disease resistance. Then, first of all, we discuss the brief introduction of that five principles. That means what is meant by avoidance, exclusion, eradication, protection, and disease resistance. And after onwards, we discuss in detail each and every principle. So let us see the first principle known as avoidance of disease. So that avoidance, so the name indicates that avoid means what? To avoid a disease. So how we have to avoid the disease? That avoiding disease by planting the plant at a time when or in areas where inoculum is ineffective due to environmental conditions or is rare or absent. That means what? We can do the planting of crop in such areas where the inoculum is completely absent or rarely present. So I think you should know that inoculum. So inoculum is nothing but the infectious ability of pathogen. That means the infectious ability of fungus, bacteria, virus, whatever it may be. So this is called as an inoculum, that is infectious ability of pathogen. So we can grow the crop in such areas where such inoculum is completely absent or pathogen is completely absent. So in that way we can avoid a disease. Or second aim of avoidance is that to avoid the contact between the pathogen and the susceptible stage of the plant. If you able to identify or if you able to avoid the contact between the pathogen and the susceptible stage of the plants, so we can avoid the disease. For example, suppose this is your plant and this is your pathogen. So simply we can do such activities, we can do a different modification or such activities. In that way we can avoid the contact between that host, that is plant, and the pathogen. If you avoid the contact between these two, then and then it is possible to spread of that disease. So this is called as your avoidance principle. Then next we discuss here about the exclusion. So exclusion is nothing but preventing the entry of pathogen from other country into our country or from our country into another country and preventing them to establish within our area. That means exclusion, that means what? We can do such a practices. With the help of such a practices, we can prevent the entry of pathogen, mostly just like in quarantine. I think you should know that we can discuss in detail in case of that topic exclusion. What is meant by plant quarantine and how we can use that plant quarantine, or what is the role of that plant quarantine and how they are responsible to avoid or how it is responsible to avoid the spread of pathogen. Then third principle is called as eradication. Eradication, that means what? Eradication, I think you should know that. Eradication means what? Completely removal of pathogen. That means we can reduce or we can inactivate or we can destroy the pathogen from the source. That means the source, that means the pathogen which is which is present in area, or a pathogen which is present in plant or the host, we can completely remove from the source of infection which is established within themselves or on themselves. So simply eradication means we can completely remove the pathogen which is present on the plant surface or which is present on in a surface in that area. So this is called as an eradication. Then protection, that means what? Protection, in case of protection, we can create the chemical barriers in between. We can suppose that plant will be there, we can create a chemical barriers or in between the host, that is plant and pathogen. That means how we can use or how we can use that chemical barriers. What is the role of chemical barriers? For example, if you sprayed a chemical or if you sprayed a chemical over a plant, suppose that chemical is sprayed over the plant, so that chemical which is present on the upper surface of the plant, that chemical acts as a barrier in between that host and the pathogen. And due to that chemical barriers, pathogen is not easily entered inside the host. So this is about your protection. We can create the barriers in between that host and pathogen by the application of chemical spray. And last one is nothing but, I think you should know that, resistant principle. So in case of resistant, we can produce a resistant variety through the modification of the host or through or with the help of different genetic engineering technique or with the help of plant tissue culture technique, we can produce a different resistant variety. We built up R genes, that is resistant gene in host, and in that way we produce a different resistant variety which is resistant to the different pests and diseases. So this is about your disease resistance. So this is brief introduction of all the principles. Then let us see which points comes under each and every principles. Okay, so first principle, that is called as the avoidance. In case of avoidance, a number of points they comes. For example, in case of avoidance, first point is choice of geographical area, then selection of field, choice of planting time, disease escaping varieties, selection of planting material. That points comes under the avoidance. So how that choice of geographical area is responsible to avoidance of disease? So in case of geographical area, as you know that many fungal and bacterial diseases is mostly found in wet areas. If your geographical area is wet, then most of the fungal and bacterial diseases is caused rather than dry area. So for example, if you take the example, if you plant a bajra crop in wet area, so bajra crop is easily attacked by a smut and ergot disease. But instead of that wet area, if you plant that bajra in dry area with a suitable irrigation facility, then bajra is not attacked by the smut or ergot disease. So in that way we can avoid the incidence of that disease by growing the crop in wet areas instead of dry areas. So this is about a geographical area. Then second point in avoidance, it's selection of field. That selection of field plays very important role for the control of different kind of diseases. That selection of field, if you select the field which is completely free from a disease, then most of the disease or then and then most of the crop it's prevented from the infection. Because sometime what happens, we can whatever the field which is used for the sowing, that field or that soil which is full of harmful pathogens, or that soil is called as a sick soil. Sick soil, that means what? The soil, suppose that soil is the soil which is completely full of a different harmful microorganism. Number of harmful microorganism is present in that field or the soil, and that soil is called as a sick soil. So intensity of pathogen is maximum in such a sick soil. So we can so we can avoid the use of such a sick soil. What happens most of the time, same crop that will be grown year after year, and due to that number of microorganism is in number of harmful microorganism increases in their soil, and due to that the soil becomes sick, and after some year that soil become unproductible, or that soil is not that soil they do not having any kind of use. So if you select the field which is free from pathogen or microorganism, then we can avoid the incidence of disease. Then third one is choice of planting time. Generally what happens in case of choice of planting time, most of the time pathogen they infect the plants at the time of its susceptible stage of that plant, and when at the same time if favorable condition is occur, at that time pathogen completely infect to the susceptible plants, so that we can change the date of sowing. For example, the date of sowing is, suppose for example for sowing of wheat, the date of sowing is 15th November. Instead of 15th November, we can delay the sowing. Instead of 15th November, we can sow the crop up to 25 November or 30 November. So if you do such a early sowing or the late sowing, then the susceptible stage of the crop they are not coincide with the favorable condition of that environment, and due to that your plant is avoid from the infection. For example, if you plant the early maturating variety of wheat, or if you do the early sowing of the wheat, so that wheat escape or wheat is prevented from the rust and the powdery mildew attack. So the choice of planting is very important. Then next one is disease escaping varieties. For example, disease escaping means what? Just like due to the some modification in plant, that variety is not easily attacked by a pathogen, that is called as an escaping varieties. So such a we can grow in our field, we can grow a different disease escaping varieties, so that our crop is prevented from the infection. That means, for example, if you take the example of cactus, so due to the modification of growth characters, for example, the leaves are directly converted into the spines in case of cactus, and due to presence of spines there is no any attack on cactus. Then some modification, if you take the example of chickpea or gram, so in that chickpea or gram, which also contains, or the leaves of that chickpea contains a malic acid, and that malic acid prevents the entry of pathogen. So due to the some modification inside the plant and outside the plant, that variety escape the attack of disease. So in that way we can avoid the entry, or we can avoid the disease. Then and last one is there in case of avoidance is selection of planting material. We can, okay, for sowing of crop we can use a planting material which is completely free from microorganism, or we can use planting materials like seeds, tubers, bulbs, suckers, whatever the planting material that will be purchased from the better source. Then and then it is possible to avoid the disease, because most near about 30 to 40% disease that occurs due to the use of diseased planting materials. So we can buy the planting material from the accurate source. For example, if we use the good quality of suckers of banana, then we protect your crop from the Panama wilt of banana or bunchy top virus of banana only if we use a good quality of suckers for planting. So that selection of planting material played very important role for the avoidance of disease. So all this about avoidance. So in that way we can discuss here the geographical area. In that we discuss we can grow a crop in wet area instead of dry area. In case of selection of field, we can select the field which is completely free from microorganism and do not grow a same crop year after year. Then in third, choice of planting of time, we can discuss here, we can do the early sowing or late sowing, so that helps to avoid the incidence of disease. Then next we discuss in disease escaping variety, we can use such a variety that is able to escape the disease. For example, as we told the example, a variety of pea or variety of wheat or the variety of gram that escape the powdery mildew, rust, or that escape the blight also. And last one, selection of planting material. If you select a good quality planting material, then near about 30 to 40% disease is controlled. That means if you use a good quality of seeds, tubers, bulbs, then automatically the intensity of disease is reduced. So this is all about the avoidance of disease. Next principle is, so the next principle is called as exclusion. In case of exclusion, we can, as we know that exclusion is nothing but the preventing the entry of pathogen from other country. So in case of exclusion, the first point is seed inspection and certification. In case of seed inspection and certification, the crop which is exclusively grow for the seed purpose that are expected or that are inspected periodically for the presence of seed-borne diseases. That means what? For example, suppose that is our field. In that field, the crop which is completely grow for the seed purpose, only for the seed production purpose. So that crop, after the certain period, that crop will be checked periodically. After 15 days, after 13 days, after 30 days, after 45 days, we can check that crop. We can check that crop. If any diseased plant are observed, so we can remove the diseased plants. Because if you keep that diseased plant, so that diseased plant spoiled the all plantation. So that we can check at a certain intervals for the presence of that diseased plants. If any diseased plant or if the disease will be occurred on that plant, so we can do a suitable control measure or necessary precautions or necessary control measure we can use to avoid the spread of that disease. Then after the completion of life cycle of that crop, or after the harvesting of that crop, if no any disease will be occurred to in that crop or in that seeds, so that seed is used for the export. After checking that seed, whatever the seed is obtained from that plot, so that seed is directly used for the export after the after a certain procedure. That means after careful observation, if no any pathogen is observed in that seed lot, so that is called as an disease free lot, that prevents the spread of inter and intra-regional spread of pathogen, or that means it prevents the spread of seed borne diseases from one country to another country. So this is called as in your seed inspection and certification. Then next one is a plant quarantine regulation. So most of the student, you know that plant quarantine. So what is meant by plant quarantine? Let us see. Plant quarantine is nothing but a legal restriction on the movement of agricultural commodities from one country to another country to exclude or for the purpose of prevention or exclusion the spread of pathogen from infected to uninfected area. That means there is an certain legal restrictions that will be made by the government if you want to export or import any agricultural produce. So there is a certain rules and regulation. If we satisfy the rules and regulation about that particular commodity, then and then our product is exported or imported. If any pesticidal residue will be observed in that agricultural commodity, so that commodity is completely not expected, it is not accepted. For example, if you want to export the mangoes, so first of all the characteristics of mango or the characteristics or the certain rules and regulations for that mango are checked. For example, size of that mango, color of that mango, is there any insecticidal residue will be there, is there any is there any fungicidal residue will be there. So all that criteria will be checked, and if that mango satisfy all the criteria, then and then our mangoes is exported. But during that checking of criteria or during that checking of mango, if any criteria is not fulfilled by the mango, then your mango is not exported. So that is called as an plant quarantine regulation. And that plant quarantine regulation was firstly used in France in 1660, then in Denmark in 1903, and in USA in 1912, for the purpose of removal of barberry grass, or barberry is a name of weed which is an alternate host of a rust of wheat. In case of France, Denmark and USA, there is a total plantation of wheat is there, but in that wheat there is a attack of rust, that is Puccinia, attack of rust or Puccinia, and that Puccinia directly attack on that wheat crop, and after the harvesting of that wheat crop, that Puccinia fungus directly survive on the barberry weed which is present in field, and due to that Puccinia survive on the barberry weed, or they complete their life on that barberry weed. And when in next time when the plantation of wheat is there, so at that time again that Puccinia fungus which is survive in barberry plant for their survival, so that Puccinia fungus directly again attack on the wheat crop. So during unavailability of that host, or during unavailability of main host, that barberry or that Puccinia complete their life cycle on alternate host, that is barberry. And when there is a presence of main host, that is wheat, so at that time that rust directly attack on the barberry, so that France, Denmark and USA that completely for the complete removal of that barberry weed which acts as an alternate host for the rest of wheat, that completely removed under the plant quarantine regulation. Then in our India, the Plant Quarantine Act was enforced in 1940, or it is also called as an Destructive Insecticidal Pest Act. Destructive Insecticidal Pest Act. That act was passed in India in 1940. So that kind of question is also asked when the plant quarantine regulation was passed in our India, or DIPA, that is Destructive Insecticide Pest Act, was passed in dash dash year, so in 1940. Then next, in plant quarantine we discuss it having three types, that is domestic plant quarantine, foreign plant quarantine and total embargoes. So domestic plant quarantine means what? There is a legal restriction on the movement of agricultural commodities from state to state. That is, there is a certain rules and regulation which is governed by the government. If you transfer the agricultural commodity from one state to another state, so it also having some kind of regulations. So that is called as a domestic quarantine. Because why the quarantine are enforced, or why that quarantine are used? Because wart disease of potato, that is that wart disease of potato which is caused by the fungus Syncytium. So that wart disease of potato is entered in our Maharashtra from the West Bengal, and due to that, apart from that, that domestic quarantine was enforced. So that means in case of domestic quarantine, there is a certain rules and regulation for the transport of different agricultural commodities from state to state. Then next one is there foreign quarantine. In case of that quarantine, there is a legal restriction on the movement of agricultural commodities from one country to another country. Without permission of that country, we cannot export or import our agricultural commodities or agricultural produce. So this is about a foreign quarantine. Then third one is there total embargoes. Total embargoes, that means what? There is a total restriction on movement of agricultural commodity. That means completely banned for the export and import of agricultural material. For example, coffee rust. That coffee rust is due to the incidence of coffee rust in Sri Lanka, there is a complete ban on the movement of planting material of coffee or the export and import of coffee on Sri Lanka. So this is about your total embargoes. So let us see in brief what is meant by domestic quarantine. That is legal restriction on movement of agricultural commodity from one state to another state. Second, foreign quarantine, that is legal restriction on movement of agricultural commodity from one country to another country. And total embargoes, that means what? The total restrictions or total ban on the export and import of agricultural commodities. So this is all about the plan, quarantine, regulation. So in that way, that is domestic, foreign, and total embargoes. In that way, we can prevent the entry of pathogen. The next one is there that we here. Next one is there, inspection and certification of PEQ or PSC, that is phytosanitary certificate. Okay, so that phytosanitary certificate, that means what? After the harvesting of the crop, if we want to export the, for example, if we want to export the planting material, or if we want to export the seed into other countries, then one certificate is essential, that is called as an phytosanitary certificate. If that certificate is available there, or if that phytosanitary certificate is available, then and then you can export our agricultural produce. Without them we cannot import or export the agricultural commodities.